It's time for some scary facts about the vampire bat. This is Malcolm Walker on Wild But True. This means that if you see one, you might want to run away because they can't survive without blood. But how do they find blood? Well, luckily for them, their noses work like a biological thermal camera, allowing them to sense infrared light. This lets them find blood vessels under the skin of their victims while they still flying in the air. The veins and arteries closest to the surface of the skin emit infrared light as they pump blood. And when the vampire bat flies above its sleeping prey, and if you're ever bitten, don't blame yourself, who roam around at night looking for human blood to drink. The truth is, they're mostly just trying to stay alive. Kinda makes you feel bad for them, but not enough to let them drink your blood, right? You'd probably feel pretty bad if you were bitten by a creature known as the vampire bat. But here's something that might make you feel better. Most of the time when they bite people, it's because they got confused. See, most of the time, vampire bats aren't looking for human blood. They prefer the blood of birds and mammals like cattle, pigs, and horses. And they usually only bite humans when they're very young and can even find any other type of animal to feed on. It can use its nose to find the best place to bite into that blood vessel. Fact 1. It's the only mammal that survives solely on blood. But this isn't a very precise way of finding blood. They can reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour and can fly up to 100 miles in a single night. So once they spot their prey, they can reach them in a matter of seconds. And when they bite, they don't just bite once. They'll bite multiple times around the wound to make sure that their blood meal doesn't clot. Then they drink their fill, and leave their victim to wake up. Sometime later with 2 puncture wounds where the bat bit them and possibly a little bit of blood around their mouth. So how do vampire bats make sure they don't miss when they go in for the kill? And no, it's not rabies, because thank goodness, vampire bats don't have rabies. Instead, their saliva contains proteins that keep your blood from clotting. And while this is good for the bat, because it allows them to drink your blood without any problems, it's bad for you because if you get an infection from the bite, you could die. And in places where vampire bats live, people are often bitten by hundreds of bats every year, which means thousands of people need anti-venom injections, or they could die. Well, as mammals, we have sweat glands all over our bodies. When we sleep, those sweat glands slow down, but they don't completely stop producing sweat. The lack of sweat can signal to the bat that there is a tasty blood meal nearby. So before they go in for a bite, vampire bats will sniff around their potential victim to see if they're sweating. If not, then it's time to attack. And these creatures can really fly. These bites are painful, but there's another problem that humans experience when they're bitten by a vampire bat. So far, there haven't been many cases of people dying from vampire bat bites, but it's still something to be aware of. This means that while you might think of vampire bats as vicious monsters, thanks for watching. Remember, even if you get bitten by a vampire bat, don't blame yourself.